Chapter 5. Digital Security and Safety. The use of digital platforms has significantly transformed the way we live, work, and communicate. These tools offer remarkable advantages, such as the ability to connect with people around the world, access a vast amount of information, and facilitate a variety of tasks that we carry out at work or in our daily lives. However, alongside these benefits, there are risks that it is crucial to understand and manage effectively to protect our security. We spend a large part of our time online. For better or worse, the digital world has become part of our world. No one denies that it has many advantages, but it also comes with risks. We need to be very aware of these risks in order to know how to protect ourselves and how to safely use the internet and all it has to offer. Therefore, knowing how to handle the information we find on the internet is crucial to avoid falling into scams and to protect our privacy. One of the main risks associated with the use of digital platforms is privacy and the handling of personal data. Platforms collect a considerable amount of information about their users, ranging from basic data such as names and dates of birth, to more sensitive details such as browsing habits, geographic locations, and personal preferences. This level of data collection raises concerns about who has access to this information and how it is used. In some cases, data can be sold to third parties without the user's knowledge, used for detailed profiling for marketing purposes, or even be subject to cyber attacks. To mitigate these risks, it is essential to read and understand privacy policies, use appropriate privacy settings, and be aware of the information we share online. Using tracking blocking tools and reviewing application permissions can help limit the amount of data being shared. Increased online activity has led to a rise in cyber attacks, such as phishing, malware, and ransomware. These attacks can compromise personal and financial information, causing financial loss and reputational damage. Protecting against these threats involves keeping security software up to date, creating strong and unique passwords, and enabling two-factor authentication whenever possible. In addition, it is important to be on the lookout for suspicious emails and messages that may be phishing attempts. Online scams have also become a headache, with scammers using a variety of tactics to trick users into obtaining financial or personal information. These scams can include fraudulent emails, fake websites, and scam phone calls. To protect yourself, it is important to be wary of offers that seem too good to be true. Verify the authenticity of websites and do not share sensitive financial information without confirming the legitimacy of the recipient. Another problem that affects us all the most, and that we witness on a daily basis, is that of misinformation and fake news, which represent a significant risk in today's digital environment. The ease with which information can be shared online has led to the rapid spread of false or misleading content, which can influence public opinion, cause confusion, and in extreme cases, incite panic. To address this problem, it is essential to develop critical thinking skills and to verify information through reliable sources before sharing it. Promoting media literacy is a key measure to help people discern between truthful and false information. Every tool that humans have ever created can have both beneficial and malicious uses. The same is true for digital platforms. Excessive use of digital platforms can lead to addiction problems and negatively affect the mental health of users. Constant connection and the need to be always up to date can result in stress, anxiety, and sleep problems. Setting time limits for device use, taking regular breaks, and seeking offline activities can help balance online time and reduce the negative impact on mental health. While digital platforms offer numerous benefits, it is crucial to be aware of the associated risks and take proactive steps to mitigate them. Education, caution, and the adoption of safe practices can help maximize the benefits while minimizing the risks. Protecting personal information online is critical in an increasingly digitized world. As we interact with various platforms and services, our digital footprint expands, which can expose us to multiple risks, from privacy breaches to identity theft. Here are detailed and practical strategies for safeguarding our personal information in the digital environment. 1. It is essential to know how to be critical of the information we read in online media. Not everything we find online is true. It is important to verify sources, seek expert opinions, and check data before taking any information at face value. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. It is difficult to do this task of verification, but we are increasingly uninformed, more manipulated, more biased, and it is our responsibility to learn to discern reliable sources from unreliable ones. 2. It is not advisable to click on unknown links or download files from untrusted sources. Emails and text messages containing suspicious links may be phishing attempts, a social engineering technique that seeks to trick users into revealing personal information or downloading malware. It is vital to be wary of emails requesting personal or financial information, especially if they come from unknown senders or contain links and attachments. Always verifying the authenticity of senders and accessing websites by entering the URL directly rather than clicking on links provided in emails can prevent many phishing attacks. 3. We should never share personal information on unsecured websites. Avoid providing information such as your address, phone number, or financial information on pages that do not begin with HTTPS or do not have a padlock in the address bar. These signals indicate that the site has an adequate level of security. 4. It is highly recommended to use strong and unique passwords for each of your online accounts. A good password combines letters, numbers, and symbols, and should not be easy to guess. Avoid using easily deducible information such as family names or dates of birth. To manage multiple complex passwords, you can use a password manager, which in addition to securely storing your passwords, can generate random combinations that increase security. In addition, using two-factor authentication provides an extra layer of security, as it requires a second step to verify your identity, usually through a code sent to your phone. 5. Always keep your software and applications up to date. Installing and regularly updating security software is also essential. Antivirus and anti-malware programs can detect and neutralize threats before they compromise our data. In addition, keeping the operating system and all applications up to date ensures that we have the latest security enhancements and vulnerability fixes. Updates often include security patches that protect against recent vulnerabilities. A reliable antivirus is also an important tool for detecting and eliminating potential threats. 6. Be aware of scam attempts. Scammers often use pressure tactics to get you to act without thinking. If someone pressures you to make a quick decision, such as transferring money or sharing personal information, take a moment to assess the situation and seek advice if necessary. Digital security is all about being cautious and aware of potential threats. With good practices and a little common sense, you can browse safely online and protect your personal information from those who try to take advantage of the unsuspecting. Being aware of the privacy policies of the services and platforms you use can help. Before providing personal data, it is wise to read the privacy policies to understand how our data is collected, used, and shared. Opting for services that respect user privacy and offer transparency in their data practices can help minimize the risk of misuse of information. Limiting the amount of personal information we share online is also an effective practice to reduce exposure. It is not necessary to provide more details than is necessary to use a service. On social networks, it is advisable to restrict the visibility of our information to people we trust and avoid publishing sensitive data that can be used maliciously. Implementing all these strategies not only protects our personal information, but also contributes to a safer and more conscious use of digital technologies. By taking a proactive and diligent approach, we can enjoy the benefits of the digital world while minimizing the associated risks. Toolkit 17. Safe browsing, protecting our online identity. Title of the activity: Safe surfing, protecting our identity online. Aim of the activity: to raise participants' awareness of the importance of digital safety and security, and teach them basic practices to keep their personal information safe in the digital environment. Participants will learn how to identify common risks, such as scams and phishing, and how to implement practical security measures on their devices and online accounts. Activity description: this activity is delivered through a combination of interactive presentation, practical exercises, and a group discussion. It begins with an introduction to the most common digital security risks and basic practices to protect oneself. Participants then go through a series of exercises in which they apply these practices, such as checking the security of a website or setting up secure passwords. The activity ends with a group reflection and the establishment of individual commitments to improve digital security. Materials needed: computers, tablets or smartphones, one per participant or in pairs. Projector and screen for presentations. Digital security guide with tips on passwords, privacy settings, website verification, etc. Flipchart paper and marker pens to record the conclusions. Duration of activity: 60 to 90 minutes. Group size: 8 to 15 participants. Step-by-step instructions. Introduction to digital security: 15 minutes. It provides a brief introduction to the importance of digital security and the main risks that users are exposed to online, such as phishing, data theft, and the spread of fake news. It explains how to protect yourself through practices, such as using strong passwords, two-factor authentication, and being wary of suspicious links. Common risks. Demonstration: 10 minutes. Show examples of phishing emails, fake social media profiles, and fraudulent websites. Use images and real examples without personal information so that participants can recognize the warning signs. It explains the common characteristics of these scam attempts, such as alarmist language, misspellings, and suspicious email addresses. Security configuration exercise: 20 minutes. Ask participants to log in to one of their online accounts, such as their email, and review the security settings. Guide them to enable two-factor authentication if they do not have it enabled, and review permissions and connected applications. Teach them how to manage their passwords securely, using a password manager if possible, and how to create secure and unique passwords for each account. Website verification and privacy settings: 15 minutes. Ask participants to go to a website they use frequently and check if it is secure. https:// and padlock symbol in the address bar. They then log into their social media profiles and review their privacy settings, adjusting the visibility of their information so that it is only available to people they trust. Fake news and critical thinking game: 10 minutes. Divide the group into small teams and show them examples of news stories, some real and some fake. The teams should discuss and decide which they think is real and which is fake, based on their analysis. Explains how to verify the veracity of information, such as searching reliable news sites or verifying the date and author of content. Reflection and closure: 10 minutes. Ask participants to share something new they have learned and a commitment they want to make to improve their online safety. It stresses the importance of adopting these practices in their daily lives and sharing them with their families and friends to protect their communities as well. Reflection and closure. Reflect with participants on how knowledge of digital safety practices can help them avoid risks and feel safer when using the internet. Emphasize that being informed and adopting a critical and preventive attitude is essential to enjoy the benefits of technology without exposing themselves to unnecessary risks. Assessment method: personal digital security plan. At the end of the activity, each participant writes a personal digital security plan, where identify at least 3 practices that you will implement to improve your online security. Describe in which specific situations or platforms you will apply these practices, e.g. when checking emails, using social media, shopping online, etc. Set a reminder to review and update your security settings regularly. In a follow-up session, optional, participants can share their experiences on how they have been implementing these practices and discuss any difficulties or questions that have arisen. Activity variants: phishing simulation for advanced groups. Create a phishing simulation and ask participants to identify suspicious signals and how they would respond. Password manager tutorial. If the group is digitally savvy, a brief explanation or demonstration of how to use a password manager can be included. Q&A session. Leave a space at the end of the activity for participants to ask about specific digital security questions. Tips for the facilitator. Make sure the examples of phishing and fake news are current and relevant to the participants. Avoid using technical terminology without explaining it, so that security practices are well understood by all participants. Be patient and support participants who are less experienced with the technology, making sure they understand each step before moving on to the next. Additional notes. This activity may be especially useful for migrants who may be more vulnerable to online scams due to language barriers or lack of experience with local digital platforms. It is recommended to adapt it according to the digital literacy level of the group, focusing on basics for beginners or exploring advanced tools for more experienced participants.